So I thought that tonight I would treat myself to some Chinese and go to this nice restaurant right next to where I live. At this Chinese restaurant they make you write your order on a piece of paper, hit a button on your desk, and then someone comes and collects it and starts to prep your meal. When you are ordering you have to write the number of the dish you want. This makes it simple for them to understand what you want, and apparently I can't even do that right. So I picked the goat. For context, the number for goat was 15 and the number for pork was 16. I had never seen goat before and was feeling very adventurous tonight. I have also never seen cooked pork either, so I was setting myself up for disaster. My 15 must have blended itself into a 16. As the waiter brings me my food, I was on a call and really had to pay attention to what my friend was telling me, so I didn't focus on what the waiter said my dish was and just thanked him. As I am eating I am getting this euphoric sort of feeling. I had never expected goat, now knowing pork, to be so amazing. I loved every single mouthful and was contemplating coming back tomorrow to try it again. As I went up to pay I thanked the waiter for such an unforgettable meal, now in more ways than one, and that the goat was amazing. He pauses processing my payment and squints at me. He goes on and says that I had ordered pork. I look and say that he was wrong and the goat was delicious. I think back and realize how stupid I was and that there was no way that could have been goat. I kinda froze for a while and questioned my life and my faith while other people waited to pay. The worst part is I want to try that again so bad. TLDR, went to restaurant where you order by writing number down. Tried to order goat, 15, but instead order pork, 16. Really enjoyed every mouthful, and after thanking the waiter for such good goat he told me that I had just in fact had pork. I took my uncle out to dinner for his birthday. Now my uncle and I are pretty close, considering there is only a year's difference in our ages and I am older than him. We grew up more with a sibling-cousin relationship, even went to the same high school together. Because of this, we talk a lot of shit, roast each other, and whenever he is losing in an argument he has to throw out the trump card, "Yeah, well, I'm your uncle, so have some respect." Anyway, we're a few margaritas deep when the shit-talking and roasts are in full force. That's when he tells a joke about a family rumor that my mom, his half-sister, isn't really my grandpa's daughter. I hadn't heard that one, and we both have a good laugh over how ridiculous that is. We had moved on to other subjects when I remembered that he and I had both used 23andMe to get our DNA analyzed. "Let's connect, this is going to be hilarious," I said. So we did, and in all of 5 minutes everyone stopped laughing as the results came up that we share exactly 0 DNA. He got very emotional and said I ruined his birthday. Now we need to decide if and how to tell my 80-year-old grandpa that his oldest daughter has a different biological father, and to tell my mother her dad isn't her bio dad. Happy birthday, Unc. TLDR, I connected my uncle's account with mine and found out that we aren't blood related. Edit, since this is causing some confusion. To clarify, my mom is from my grandpa's first marriage and my uncle is from his second marriage. That's why the results show 0 DNA relation, because they thought they shared a common father, except they don't. I have a very vocal cat who will meow back and forth with me and adjust the tone of each of his responses so that it's like having a conversation. I'm pretty sure he wins our arguments by virtue of being fluent in cat speak, but regardless, I've grown accustomed to our routine. Lately, he's taken to sitting in a dark empty closet at the back of my apartment to exercise his vocal range. Good acoustics? Who knows? Today is a beautiful day, so I have all my windows wide open. I also decided, because I'm not broiling for once, to go for a run on my treadmill. My cat began his typical meowish warm-ups in his closet, and I did as usual and meowed back at him. I live in a pretty busy area and, like I said, it's a beautiful day. The many strangers who were out and about very likely could not have heard my cat from his distant hidey hole. What they could see and hear, however, was a lady running on a treadmill and meowing, with more and more irritation, apparently at her own self. I am abashed, but I am not ashamed. I think I can manage this reputation as long as I don't ever interact with anyone. And #X200B. TL, doctor, went for an indoor run, forgot other humans existed. Probably looked like a crazy person meowing back and forth with a cat that nobody could see nor hear. And #X200B. Edit, I'm reading every one of your comments, and I'm so grateful for all the adorable stories. You've all made a tough week much brighter. Less than 3. I am not a babysitter. I'm an 18-year-old guy, and I'm really not all that good with kids. I can usually manage boys when the task is dropped on me, because they'll ask to shoot Nerf guns or play Mario Kart, which I'm good at. This time though, some family friends came over with their 2 7-year-old girls. Normally the task of taking care of them would fall to my older sister, who is great with kids. However, she is in a different country for college. I'm sitting in my room playing a tank combat game when these 2 girls and their dad rush into my room. The dad asks me if I can look after them while they go get drinks with my parents. I accept, of course, but have no idea what the hell I'm going to do. Also, I'll throw in I'm not getting paid for this. So they mill around the house, doing small things and using old toys, but nothing seems to grab their attention for more than 5-10 minutes. Finally one of them asks, "What were you playing when we got here?" I mentioned the tank combat game, expecting nothing, but both of them jumped on the idea. I got my laptop, plugged it into the TV, and told them the basic controls. They weren't good at it, but became super invested. Screaming, laughing, shooting away, asking if there are bigger guns, bigger tanks, and having a good time. Their desire to destroy was insatiable. When they ran out of targets, they would scream for more. When the ammo was out, they would ask for more to keep shooting. It was the only thing they did for longer than 15 minutes. Eventually it was time for them and their parents to go, so I took them upstairs to leave, where they immediately rushed to their parents, all excited. "Dad, we blew up so many guys. I blew up like 10 tanks. I shot so many of them." I could see the confusion and life drain from the dad's face as he looked over at me. I kinda just shrugged and told him how they wanted to do it, and who was I to deny children the experience of blowing up Nazis. TL, doctor, couldn't figure out how to entertain 2 7-year-old girls. They find a tank combat video game and become filled with an insatiable bloodlust and desire to destroy, which didn't paint me in a great light to their parents. Edit, after a text to them, the dad was not angry at me, just confused. I asked about it and apparently I'm their favorite now, so maybe less of a fuck up than I thought. This just happened at 9:40 p. about 20 minutes ago. So I'm sitting downstairs in the living room playing Ghost Recon. I'm only in my boxers and have a blanket covering me as I do when I'm lounging around the house. I'm on the couch by the front door when my daughter walks in from work. I have 2 dogs who always rush the door when someone comes in, so I sit up to tell the dogs to stay. She comes in and looks at me weird. And doesn't say a word. She usually doesn't speak to me, so I'm like whatever. Teenagers. I turn back to the TV to play my game and look at my laptop sitting next to me. So I'm a photographer and I'm getting my set list together for a boudoir shoot on Friday. So I have a bunch of pics on women in various stages of undress on the screen. I immediately connect the dots and text my wife, who is upstairs. She audibly laughs loud enough that I can hear her downstairs. So then she yells, "Hey babe, are you done editing the pics yet?" Then texts me and says that should cover it. Knowing my child, she's probably in her room with headphones on, so she probably didn't even hear my wife trying to save my dignity. TL drive, my daughter walked in on me looking at boudoir photos but probably thinks I was masturbating to porn on the living room couch. Edit, as a proponent of pics or it didn't happen, hear the exchange I had with my wife. Her saying "there you go" was in response to yelling downstairs to me. Imgur.com web link. This happened a few months ago. My boyfriend and I had a fight and both of us went to bed grumpily. We were housemates and had separate bedrooms. In the middle of the night I heard a loud thump in the living room area of the house. I grabbed my baseball bat and went through the whole house with the bat, and the lights on. Every closet, every cupboard, etc. Nothing was out of order and the doors were locked. I was still spooked and running high on adrenaline. It was about 4:30 in the morning and I had to get up at 6, so I just gave up on going back to sleep before that. I debated what to do for the hour and a half and decided to go to IHOP, open 24 hours where I live. As I was about to leave I realized that if I left my sleeping boyfriend in the house and the murderer was actually still there and killed him I would feel extremely guilty. So I went to wake him up just enough to warn him before I left for a op. He woke up to me leaning over his bed, holding a bat, and whispering about murder. He almost cried. And #X200B. TL, doctor made my boyfriend think I was planning on killing him.